Alright, what is going on, everybody? It's Zach here, back again, and it's been a long time, guys. I haven't posted, I think when I checked the app, it said I hadn't posted in 29 days. And that is because I've had a lot going on, actually. About 2 weeks ago, we got back, my family and I got back from a trip to Japan, which was freaking awesome. I don't think I'll do it in this episode. I'm going to wait to the next one to put some like videos and images, but it was super cool, really interesting. We got to see Tokyo. We stayed there for a few days, Kyoto, and Osaka. Each of those we stayed there 2 to 3 nights each, and it was an awesome trip, man. Super busy because it was like a tour situation. So we had folks bussing us around, and of course tour guide and all that, and then lots of walking, which it behooved me because, you know, I'm trying to hit those 10,000 steps every day. But yeah, wonderful trip. We're back from that, and then as soon as we got back, immediately started packing and doing inspections and all this stuff. Because as you can tell, my background is a little different here, and that's because we're in a new house. We moved. I mentioned it in a couple episodes here and there, just kind of as a side thing, but it's official. It has happened. We're in our new place now, and it's pretty slick. I'm digging it. There's carpet in the bedrooms, which is a little scandalous for me, especially we have dogs. So, you know, all the other pet owners out there, you know how that is, man. You got fresh carpet. It's like the busiest game of keeping watch, trying to make sure that the dogs don't go soil the carpet. So, you know, that's pretty much the only downside I'm seeing so far. But you know, we're closer to our family, and I got a new garage that I can kit out with gym equipment. So I'm pretty excited. Things are going pretty well. And on the screen right now, we're seeing some new movements. You might have seen at the beginning of the video, I was doing straight leg deadlifts, but I was doing the bar, and I wasn't going full ROM, and that's because I did something very silly. Whenever I got back from Japan, I think I only worked out like twice while I was there. And so whenever I got back here, I was so freaking amped up and so hyped to work out that I went and did leg day. And like a genius, and it's so funny too, because I've mentioned in my videos before, like, oh, you know, if you're away from lifting for a long time, don't come back and try to do the same weight. You know what I did? I came back and used the same intensity, same weight, and I destroyed myself. My hamstrings, this is not an exaggeration. I think it took 12 days for my hamstrings to stop being sore after that workout. So I really bungled my return here. And then because I wasn't able to do my full workouts, and then of course moving and all that stuff, my diet has not really been on point. I've been trying to keep it in check, but finally we're in the new house. We're mostly settled. I've got my setup outside. You guys will see that in the next episode. That will be the first one in this house. But I'm finally back on track. I've been in a deficit for, how long has it been now? Let's see. So I did that big mistake on the straight leg deadlifts on April 18th. So it's been about 2 weeks. And I still haven't found the freaking scale. I don't know where our scale is. I'll have to find that so I can start weighing myself in the mornings. But weighing food, logging everything, lifting, 3 days on, 1 day off. I'm still doing legs push pull. And speaking of which, before we finish the leg day footage, let's talk about the actual exercises. And maybe I'll touch a little bit on why I picked them. I'll probably go deeper in depth in future episodes. But New mesocycle means new lifts. It's not always that way, but this time especially, I wanted to provide a novel stimulus. So some of the stuff is similar, the same as before previous mesos, but some of it is new. So what do we got here? Leg day, we're looking at straight leg deadlifts. An absolute staple. Those are coming in first, followed by, I'm calling them single leg squats. I know technically a single leg squat would be something like a pistol squat or something like that, where you're like, your one leg is stretched out in front of you and then you just squat down on the other leg. I'm not doing those. That's a little too brolic for me. That was the ones where I was holding on to the that incline bench and then holding the dumbbell for some added load on it. And then I guess it's technically like a stationary single, or a stationary lunge, basically. It's like a weighted lunge. But doing those as like, so straight leg deadlifts are my posterior chain emphasis, so glutes, hamstrings. And then those single leg squats, I'm going to keep calling them that. Single leg squats, more so for hip flexors and quads. And then we just saw the footage of goblet squats. Those have been in my program before. And those goblet squats are going to be, of course, mostly quad and glute focused, especially because I do them on the driveway at like an incline. That way my heels are nice and raised up. And those smoke the quads out pretty good. And then, of course, for legs, dumbbell calf raises. But I'm not doing them on leg day again because, in this one I did, which, man, I must have been feeling really good this day. I think this was the 8th, I think. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I put a note in there, too, use normal shoes. I found that tennis shoes are much more comfortable to do these calf raises than the actual lifting shoes are, so I'll probably be using those in the future. So that's the leg day exercises there. Let's see. For push day, I chose incline barbell bench, which done many times. It's kind of a staple for me. Upper chest, a little bit of triceps, anterior deltoids, followed by dumbbell lateral raises. Actually, we'll get to the rest of the push day exercises in a second. Now that I have a minute, we can talk a little bit about what's going on with me and where I'm at, because competition is 4th week of August and we are like almost halfway through May. So what do we got? June, July. So that's like about 13 weeks out right now, which is cutting it close, man, because I'm still a little bit chunkus up in here. I'm thickums, if you know what I'm saying. I got the little thickums going on. Just looking at my physique and stuff. Of course, I'm leaner than I was, years ago, when I stopped lifting and all that stuff. And speaking of which, part 2 of I want to look like that guy, the second part of that story is going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to be releasing soon because I'm not finished recording or editing all of the stuff for that, but the second part of that story will be coming out relatively soon. So, keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll probably do another one of those like special premieres for that. So that you guys can see what happened to me after my love of bodybuilding and stuff kind of fizzled out whenever I got out of the Marine Corps. Discipline kind of like tapered off. I didn't have to exercise. I was tired of running, so I didn't do that. I lifted on and off for several years, but I gained I went from, in the Marine Corps I was 170-ish, 175, and before I went vegan in 2022, January 2022, I was 225 pounds, which is crazy. That's the biggest I've ever been. So looking at myself now compared to how I was looking then, it's night and day. I look pretty dang good now, but I'm like, damn, am I going to be able to prep well enough? Is this a long enough prep for me to be as lean as I want to be going into this competition? We'll see. Here in like 3 or 4 weeks after I've been in a deficit consistently I'll probably do like 3-ish, 4 weeks. And this is all depending on, I'm always talking about biofeedback and stuff, listening to your body and judging, how am I feeling? How's this going for me? Is this muted? Okay. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, so we'll see how I'm looking in like 3 to 4 weeks. I will do a progress update and then kind of judge based on that. But you know what? My wife and I were talking about it, and we basically decided I made this prep series on purpose. I chose the date on purpose, so I'm going to stick with that date. And it doesn't matter if I don't look how I want to look for the stage. I'm going to go compete, man. And that's also I'm going to hold myself accountable. I set this goal. I want to accomplish it. And so I'm going to continue going down the path that I know I need to go down in order to do that. So that's where we're at on planning. Now, we've got a couple exercises here. So you guys just saw before this one the super raw lateral raises. That's going to be my side delt exercise. And of course, these other presses also hit the side delts, but for the side delt focus, I'm going to go ahead and do the lateral raises there. And the way I'm doing those, I programmed in an intensity technique with them. So I'm doing a straight set, and then the rest of the sets are, the rest of the sets with that weight are myo rep match. So, for example, let's say on the first set of that, I did 16 reps. The next set, I start the set, do 11 reps. I can't do any more, so then I do that little rest pause for 3 or 5 breaths, and then bust out another 5 to get a total of 16. So that's how the first sets go. Then I added a drop set where I go essentially to failure, and then once I hit failure, I'm doing long length partials. So like it's the full raises, and then until I can't raise it fully, and then from there I'll just do partials until I'm totally gassed out. And the reason I'm doing those so intensely is because the side delts can really take a beating, and I find a lot of the times my side delts just aren't sore after push day, and I want to remedy that. I want to make sure, because side delts, that's one of those muscles that you grow, and when someone's got really big capped out side delts, you can just tell they're jacked, even with a shirt on. So kind of a shortcoming in my programming that I'm trying to fix with that. So after that was the neutral grip dumbbell bench. So that was, what are we doing here? Oh, okay. Yeah, we moved on to the push day here. I was like, wait, are we doing the neutral grip again? No. So neutral grip bench press. So that's basically dumbbell bench, but instead of my standard grip I would use to focus on chest and anterior deltoids, I'm turning them in to where it's mostly triceps pushing the weight up. And so that's going to be my tricep exercise, as well as a little bit of chest and front delt action on that as well. And then the last one you saw on the push day, I put in leg lifts. I've got this theory. I might make a individual video about it. I don't know if it's true, but I have this thought that if you've got a muscle group you haven't trained in a long time, purposefully trained to grow it, it should be very sensitive to hypertrophy stimulus. And so my idea is, if I'm in a deficit, typically I'm not going to gain very much muscle, maybe tiny amounts, grams, if that. Basically, the goal when you're in a deficit is to not lose any muscle. And that's why you want to eat enough protein and do your hypertrophy workouts. So your body it's getting signals from those skeletal muscles saying yo, we need to fix these, shuttle resources to fixing these muscles so that we can, the next time this happens, we'll be good to go. And so you're making your body sacrifice fat and keep muscle. with those strategies, the lifting and the eating well. And so gaining muscle really isn't included in that picture. You would need to eat more, or at least you need to eat more, ideally. If you want to gain substantial amounts of muscle, you need to eat more than your daily, maintenance level. Like 250, 500 calories more. So I'm not doing that. I'm in a deficit, and I'm in a pretty steep deficit too. I actually, because I was so nervous that I wasn't going to have enough time to prep, I've cranked the calories down a bit. I'm around it depends day to day because I don't meal prep, but I'm looking at around 350 to 450 calories as my deficit right now. And of course, all this stuff is going to change once I've gone about 4 weeks in a deficit. We'll reevaluate it, figure out where we need to go from there. But that's the plan right now, guys. Oh my God, I'm totally trailing off. So the leg lifts, the whole idea about that novel stimulus, trying to gain muscle when I'm in a cut. My thought is that if you're in a deficit, but you provide a totally novel stimulus, I'm thinking that that signal, that hypertrophy signal from that new stimulus, it might be robust enough to cause muscle growth even during a deficit. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So that's why I threw leg lifts in there, to train my ab muscles train them using the overload principle and periodizing, including them in my programming, to try to grow the ab muscles so they poke out a little bit more, so when I get really lean, it's even more contrast. I don't know if that's real or not. I might be just making up some BS, but I'm going to try it out. I don't have a control group to test it against, but it's kind of just I don't do a lot of bro things, but that's what my intuition's telling me. So, okay, I still got some time because I'm going to do the other arm here. So let's talk about our pull day, exercises for the pull day. We got those dumbbell incline curls. You guys have seen those before. Crazy good bicep stimulus. Excellent exercise. I highly recommend it. Followed by overhand pull-ups. Yeah, that's right. I'm not doing chin-ups or pull-ups anymore. Everything's a pull-up. It just depends if it's going to be underhand or overhand. The overhand tends to use the biceps a little bit less, directly at least. And for me at least, I feel a lot more lat work on those. Lats getting involved. So overhand pull-ups for the lats and mid back and lats, and then we got these unilateral, so one arm supported dumbbell rows to hit the upper back and the traps. But that's my new meso. That's my new program, guys. I'm so glad we're finally done moving. I'm happy to be here. I'm super hyped for this show, and I can't wait for you guys to join me for the ride. So, as always, have a good one, guys. See you later.